Hello there, fangirls and fanboys. Welcome to episode 70, that's right, 70, of the Electric Fancave on electricfeast.com. Chris Lotterell and Corgan Bond here, bringing you all the latest and greatest in pop culture news. And boy, howdy, has it been a whirlwind of a week. SDCC was positively bursting at the seams with trailers and all of our favorite peeps. We've selected just a few of our favorite moments that have come from Nerd Mecca. We obviously have some trailers to talk about, like Batman vs. Superman, Amy Poehler and Tina Fey's sisters, J-Law's new flick Joy, and the oft-discussed Suicide Squad. There was an epic DubSmash battle between two Marvel TV shows and a supernatural tribute that had us feeling all the feels. Plus, Comic-Con aside, a little birdie told us we can expect a special treat in the upcoming Ghostbusters reboot. So saddle up, ladies and gents, this rodeo is getting underway now.
Ooh, nailed it!
And
what up, laddie?
Oh my gosh!
Hi.
What's up? Corey, we're in the same place.
We're in the same place. This is delightful.
This is exciting.
This is a treat. We don't get to do this a whole heck of a lot.
This is the second time only.
Second time only. Third time. With John Polona, we were talking.
Oh, that's right. Third time.
Yeah.
Third
But,
time.
I mean, close.
Yeah, that's still not a lot.
Time.
It's 70. Oh, let's see. I haven't done 70. I've only done, what, like 60-something? 50-something.
I have this year because on my other thing, it's like when I'm looking at it, I can see like the volume thing going, and I'm like, oh, I know it's recording, but I don't know that it's making sound. So
This could be all for naught.
this could be all for naught.
Well, there was a little...
Was there a thing?
There's this
Oh
thing.
yeah. Okay, great. We're wonderful.
I just had it blocked out. I'm just trying to do a double screen here.
It's a trial and error.
Yeah, you know.
We'll make
Technology is hard.
Technology is hard.
So hard. So hard.
Yeah.
But anyway, how are you? You just got back.
I just got back from
You
Texas.
almost died getting here. I
almost
appreciate
died.
the effort.
I'm glad that's
Ooh.
appreciated. I just came from Texas. I was visiting my friend there, who she has a child, and she is now pregnant with her second child. We found out the gender this morning. I went and I watched them do the
With the jelly?
with the jelly. The woman did not warn her. She just was like, and I was looking the other direction. I just heard it. That's exactly what it sounds like. And then she immediately was like, oops, probably should have told you. And Sylvie's like, oh.
You're like, also, don't say oops when you're doing medical things.
Yeah, just like as a rule.
Yeah,
or
it's like
whatever.
haircuts and medical procedures. Don't say oops.
It's true. I don't think there's a lot that you can like really screw up with an ultrasound though, like medically.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Like
but still,
essentially they just like lube up your belly and.
All right, lube.
I could have chosen.
Probably could have better words for that. But I mean, what else are you gonna call it?
Yeah, but you know that's about all they do. So I did that, and then I came here, and I get into Long Beach Airport. I don't pull in. I'm not flying the plane. I get to Long Beach Airport, and I like call the Uber app, the Uber, and like they pull up, and I'm like, this car is so janky, you know. And I'm like,
I thought they'd be a certain
right,
year.
like that's the thing. I thought they had to be like a certain caliber of car.
Right.
And, like, I get in, and the woman does not speak English. And it's Long Beach. It's not that far away, but she's never heard of Newport Beach, apparently. Has no idea where it is.
Yeah, she clearly hasn't watched the OC.
Right? Like, please, come on.
Everybody knows where it is.
And she had never heard of Seth Cohen. And so
or Ben McKenzie.
Ben McKenzie, for that matter. I mean, I think you mean Ryan Atwood. Maybe she's heard of Chino. I don't know.
Maybe.
But so she's, like, driving. But, like, so I realize she doesn't know where Newport Beach is because she asks me, because then she follows up by, like, pointing at her gas gauge, and it's empty. Straight up. And this is an SUV. This isn't, like, you know, a hybrid where you can, like, push it a little extra. I'm like, But she drives all the way to Costa Mecca on the empty tank, and I'm like, please, 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 I don't want to, like, stop on the side of the road with this broken down automobile.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that to happen. But she drives all the way down and, like, goes to the Chevron on the Court of, like, Jamboree and all that kind of stuff. And we go, and then, like, when she goes to pull out of there, she, like, realizes, like, oh, this road, like, only kind of goes one way. Screw it. And she just, like, cuts all the way across. And I'm like, no! Like, oh, my life.
I have so much to live for.
Right? I just found out that I have a new nephew. You know, like, and she's swerving, because here's the thing, too. She has, like, a built-in GPS in the car.
Right.
But she's holding her GPS in her hand the whole time. Like, at one point, I had to tell her the light turned green, because she was staring at her phone.
Oh, God.
I'm like,
oh, my God. How did you make it here?
Like, at least buy a mount or something. Like, this is
well, you don't
legit
need
your
a
job.
Yeah, and your car has
And
it in
has
it.
one. I was, like, trying to figure out, I was like, is it broken? But I was like, it seems to be, like, functioning. I couldn't figure out what was happening there, and so yeah, she was driving that way, and she leaned back to ask me something like if I lived here or whatever, and I'm like, just look at the road. Too many distractions, too many. Let's just go, and yeah, so thankfully I arrived in one piece though.
Yeah, you did.
I got here, and I met Kristen's coworkers.
She did. Got to meet my coworkers, which was fun.
It was delightful.
You get to see my office.
I know it's a lot bigger than it looks on the Fancave, guys. Like
that's what she said. Beat you to it, Sean.
Beat you to it.
Yeah, it actually goes on and on.
It's like the size of like 5 Fancaves.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I've got a big conference table. I've got a couch.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what else I did? Your things remind me. I went to Dallas.
That's right.
I went to the 6th Floor Museum.
Oh my God, I almost just cried looking at your pictures.
I was so excited. We walk in and we're a little early. It opens at noon, and so we walk up and we go to the gift shop to buy our tickets. And I'm surrounded by Kennedy things everywhere, and I started shaking, and I turned around and I was like, Chelsea, I should have popped a Xanny before I came here.
Excitement levels are critical.
I can't do this. And it was I kept there's this thing in there where you're looking out, over that whole setting, the grassy knoll and the triple underpass and all that kind of stuff. And they have an animated thing of the car coming down the road, and so you're looking at the actual road and then seeing on the screen in front of you it travel the path, and I was like, look, I just kept looking back and forth, and was
that is crazy.
I stood where Abraham Zapruder stood when he shot the film, and I tell you, laddie, it was
emotional.
It was emotional. It was a lot to handle.
Yeah.
And Chelsea was a sport because we had to drive hours to get there. It was a long way. And she stuck it out, prego, all that kind of stuff. She was after a while, she was I'm gonna sit down. I'm it's fine, I'll take it all in. Yeah. But it was really exciting for me.
Fun. Aw. I don't have any cool stories to tell you.
Okay,
literally,
this means you haven't been nearly killed by an Uber driver.
Literally nothing has happened to me. And I looked at my calendar. I'm like, what have I done this week? It's nope. I went to the beach.
Went to work. Oh,
went to the beach.
Beach is a nice.
Yeah, I rode my bike down to the beach. I bought some lemonade from the kids on the side of the road.
I did.
They gave me a paper crane for a thank you gift because they it's 75 cents.
It doesn't seem like a good business model.
I know, right?
Can't just go giving away stuff every
time. Well, apparently the cranes were part of their if you got lemonade, you also got a paper crane that they made themselves.
Okay.
But then they also had paintings for sale that they had done. But they were legit,
really?
on canvas. Actually, some of them were pretty good, but I'm I honestly don't know what I would do with those.
Yeah,
you know. And I was like, that's okay. You guys keep those. I'll take my crane and my lemonade, and I biked away.
That's amazing.
But they were very cute. And
I gotta give them props for that.
Yeah, and it was pretty warm for there that day. So
I don't know. I was in Texas, so now everything just feels delightful
and
temperate.
Yeah, it sounds like winter everywhere else you go.
I know, right? And everybody everywhere I went kept saying oh, it's been so mild. It's so nice. Stop talking. Just stop it. It is 89 degrees is not mild. 93 degrees is not mild. Mild is 65.
70.
Yeah, maybe 70 if we're pushing it. No, stop trying to convince me you all are okay with this.
Yeah.
Oh, couldn't
They've just had to lie to themselves.
Right, exactly. So I can't hold that against them. If you live in that kind of thing. I also saw on the Weather Channel on the way here, because I flew JetBlue, so you get the TV, and I watch Weather Channel. As you do. The final snow has melted in Boston.
The final snow?
As in the last of the snow has finally
melted. In the town of Boston?
In the city of Boston.
Was it in a cold spot, a refrigerator, or one of those frozen ice rinks?
Outside. No, just outside snow.
But it's July 15th.
July. Yeah. Climate change, laddie.
God, I'm never living there. That's miserable.
Listen, that's the thing is here we get the random week of 115 degrees in November, and they have snow mounds on the side of the road till July.
El Niño's coming though. Did you hear about that?
Thank God.
Yeah, but really bad El Nino.
I know.
Worse than 97 El Nino.
Yeah, people's houses are going to start sliding off hills and things like that.
They're going to be goners.
But on the other hand, we'll have water.
True. Very true. So I'm not complaining. I'm just putting it out there.
Be safe, Californians,
El Nino, Spanish for the Nino, is coming in this winter. So,
yeah.
So it'll be cool. So they're saying kind of a catch. Like excited, it'll be great because everything's empty, so there's plenty of room for the water.
Yeah,
but then on the flip side is like none of the ground is apt to hold that much water. So. So I don't know. I feel like that. You know, I mean, they can be as prepared as possible, but you know, just know it's coming. Be excited.
Be careful. Drive safely.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah. Don't drive. You know, they always drive like they've never seen water.
I know.
Before.
It's the craziest thing. In Southern California, legitimately, when it starts raining, it's like you can almost do a countdown, like 5, 4, 3, 2, and then you hear the sirens because people just hit each other.
People are like, what's happening?
Like, oh,
it's like they're so distracted by liquid falling from the sky.
Like, I don't know, should I turn on my, like what setting should my windshield wipers be
also,
on?
Like, Californians do not know what setting. It's like barely drizzling and they have it on like, slow, you can just do the, like, manual at that point. I like flip it on, I drive for a long time, and then I'm like, and then you flip it back on, because otherwise you don't need it that much.
It's just an obstacle, and people don't need any more obstacles. I would hate to be in a car with my Uber driver.
Oh my gosh, she probably just doesn't go outside when you're
I hope not.
Clearly.
Ugh.
Clearly.
Anyways, what do we got going on?
We have lots of stuff. So I know you guys some of you were probably there. Obviously, Corrigan and I were not at Comic-Con this weekend. But it happened, and it was intense.
Boy, howdy, did it.
Boy, did it happen. There was a ton of stuff going on. I mean, trailers out the wazoo were happening. So we are just going to talk about a couple that have actually officially been released. Only 2 of them that were actually technically from Comic-Con. So the first one that we got to start out with Suicide Squad.
I mean, like, it's
clearly
us.
It's us. We've been
ripping on this
this movie for months now. So they finally released a trailer. It's long, which I think it has to be because there's so many people in it. They had to. It's like
get
3
a
minutes
glimpse of everyone. Like I only got like, I could complain in and of itself about the fact that I only got like a millisecond of Adam Beach.
Yeah.
Not okay.
Yeah. There was a lot of Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Harley, and then there were like characters that I wasn't sure who they were. I didn't even see Ike Barinholtz. Corey was watching it in here, and you were like, "Oh, there's Ike." I'm like, "Really?" Because I kept watching it and looking for him.
Because he's like a cop guy running in the beginning, and then like they show him.
Okay, well I'll watch it again and look for him.
Yeah, you'll
catch
him.
So, I don't know. Should we do like initial? What was your initial thought while you were watching, or after? As soon as it was done, what did you think?
Well, I think when I finished it, as I just watched everything here, I was sitting at the desk, and I turned and I looked at Kristen and just, like, ran my hand over my face and was like, what? Oh, my gosh. Here's the thing, Kristen.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a computer in 5 days.
Right.
So I've just been seeing people's reactions to things, you know. I don't know, like, if I watched a different trailer or something like that, but people's reactions to Suicide Squad were like, you know what, it actually looks like it might be, like, really decent now that I see it like this. I'm like, no, because here's what it's doing. What we've said is, like, it's so bizarro that it needs to embrace that it's bizarro and, like, go with it, you know, like, make this bananas. And instead, it's trying to be serious, and it's trying to be Dark Knight. And so, like, all the lines in it are ridiculous.
Let's talk about our favorite line, which is from Will Smith.
Oh, God.
He goes, he's like, all right, so let me get this straight. This is a terrible Will Smith.
He's the Ice-T of this
yeah,
movie.
I really only do SVU impressions, and so it's either a Stabler or it's an Ice-T. And he's like, let me get this straight. He's like, we're just the patsies. We're like a Suicide Squad. And you're like, oh my gosh, that is not how the name comes about. That cannot be how it comes about.
No. I want to know what Mac thinks of that as the introduction to it.
He's going to kill himself.
He's going to flip out, you know, because if you recall, he hated that about the Daredevil thing, you know, where
it was like
just
simple,
like out of nowhere, like the newspaper names in it, like, so we'll have to ask him what he thinks of Will Smith randomly being like some kind of Suicide Squad.
And I mean, I will in like my defense of it, or not, I guess. I don't really know a whole lot of the characters. Like, I kind of, obviously I know, you know, the Joker and those guys, but I don't really know who these people are, and so even, like, during it, I'm like, I don't really understand the plot, other than, like, I know what the Suicide Squad is, and so that helped me going into it.
Right.
But it's like, you don't get really any background. You're kind of just supposed to know, and you don't really know, like, what the threat is, why it is that they're turning to them, when clearly we know that Batman and Superman, all these other people, really actual good guys exist, so why are they turning to these guys instead? Like,
except for that we get the exposition from
the plausible, but at the same time, it's like, you've never had that, needed to have that with Batman or Superman, so it's like, why all of a sudden do they want This, I don't know.
I mean, it's not like they don't scapegoat Batman
constantly,
or Superman.
all the time. That's like their thing.
Because this is what they say in the beginning of the trailer. You have Viola Davis, who's saying...
although I love, like, she's doing a little bit of a Whitey Bulger there, and she's like eating a steak, like, so mellow, but really I'm going to stab you with this fork.
Well, and this also plays back to, like, one of the things that I'm having a problem with, and we'll talk about this also with the Superman versus Batman one, is that I feel like everyone's playing, like, caricatures of what, like, these kinds of characters are supposed to be, you know? So it's like, even with Viola Davis, she's amazing. It's like what she's doing, like, with the way she's eating that stuff. I'm like, she's villain eating.
Yeah.
You know? Like, this is how the villains eat. Like, and Harley Quinn, I'm like, also, aerial yoga is, like, never hardcore, okay?
I don't know who that is.
That's what she's, like, doing in her, like...
Oh, Ariel. Oh, I thought aerial yoga was a person. Okay, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Like, not Ariel, like a mermaid's name.
No, not like the mermaid.
Yeah.
But anyways, at the beginning of the trailer, you have Viola Davis, like, saying, like, that what she does for a living is, like, you know,
getting people to do
things that are against their interests, and that, like, they want to, if they get this group of, like, criminals, essentially, to do stuff for them, then they can just blame them if it goes wrong, which doesn't make sense, too, because wouldn't people be like,
but you put them out there in the first place.
Everyone could have told you that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, that's stellar.
Yeah.
You're brilliant.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really make
a whole lot of sense.
I don't know. So I don't know the source material super well. Maybe that's how it works, but I have trouble with, I think they didn't really establish what's going on.
And I think they were trying, it was like they were trying to show you a lot without telling you a lot, but also trying to tell you a lot. So now I'm just like, I still don't know what this movie's about.
No.
And like, tried really hard.
The Joker comes out of nowhere and seems to be, like, not connected to anything.
Yeah, because he's never with them. So
no.
is he the bad guy? So, like, the bad guys are fighting the bad guys, but isn't Harley Quinn and the Joker are, like, BFFs? So,
yeah.
Although I will say that Jared Leto's Joker was, like, uber creepy and weird.
I guess. I felt like he was doing, like, it's a caricature, you know? It just felt like he was doing, like, Heath Ledger voice.
But the Joker is a caricature.
This is true.
So,
like,
I don't know. I mean, of the whole trailer, that was kind of my favorite part, even though, because I was like, yeah, this guy is, he's a def. Because none of them else seem very crazy. I think that they're trying to make Harley Quinn look crazy with, like,
so
what do you mean? Like, Mom, like, okay, you don't really seem that crazy, and the rest of them just look like bad guys, whereas he looks legit insane.
Crazy.
Like,
no, that's true.
You know, I don't know. So I actually really liked that part of it. But yeah, the rest of it, I'm like,
yeah, so far, our fears are not allayed about this. Like,
yeah, they haven't really.
And now my thing is, because here was the thing I was looking forward to about Suicide Squad, is I'm willing to embrace this as, like, Banana Pants Fest. And I'm like, if it's just gonna be, like, a dark story, like every other dark superhero story, but, like, with too many people in it and too top-loaded, that doesn't sound like fun to sit in a theater and watch.
Yeah.
So give me a better trailer. Suicide Squad.
Or maybe they can't because that's the movie, though.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Like, that's...
In that case, more good luck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see.
So, yeah, not super stoked. I mean, I was more of just, like, excited and, like, finally we have something to, like legit really judge it on. Because before we were just judging it on the
just the
crazy amount of casting.
Yeah.
So now we can be like...
Now I feel like with some, firm reasoning, I can be like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
This here film.
Yeah. So we'll see.
But let us know if you disagree.
Yeah,
like, if you watched it and you were like, no, that was
the best trailer I've ever seen.
It's going to be my favorite movie of all time.
We should talk about what your favorite movies are, because... you know. Anyway, I'm just making faces now.
She is.
Let's move on. The other, if you're not watching this, you can't see me. If the other Comic-Con trailer that was hitting the airwaves was Batman versus Superman, The Dawn of Justice.
Yeah. What was your
initial thought on this one was, I actually thought it looked cool, because I wasn't really sure why Batman was so angry at Superman, like, in the first place. When this came out, I was like, clearly, right, because of, like, the order, Batman versus Superman, so it has to be he's the one that's bringing the he's the plaintiff bringing it against Superman. That was super nerdy and weird. I'm not a lawyer. Let's just put that out there.
Fun fact, Kristen's not a lawyer.
Not a lawyer. I don't know if you could tell that from my amazing arguments that I make on a daily basis. So, you knew that, so I was confused as to what it was. I'm like, the teaser trailer just was like, he's mad. You're like, but why? And so it kind of gives you a little bit more backstory. I'm like, okay. And then Ben Affleck just looks
He's
looking
looking
good, you
amazing.
guys. He's
Oh
got
my
this, like,
gosh.
the salt and pepper hair
yeah,
is really
salt and
coming
pepper,
in.
But his face looks young.
But he's still got that jawline, and he looks, like, pretty buff, and the
Mhm.
suits. And then he's got, like, an armored Batman suit, and it looks like Batman is, like, he hasn't been Batman for a while, but now he's, like, coming back because he, like, takes the shroud off of the bat signal, and I'm like, yes! Batman is back!
Yep.
And honestly, I like Henry Cavill as Superman. I think, obviously, he's just, like, so pretty.
He
So
looks like
he
Superman.
looks like Superman, and so I'm excited about that. Wait, there was one part that I was really thought was cool.
In the Superman segment?
No, it was,
Oh.
shoot, wait, what,
You can do it. Batman.
shoot, Batman?
Oh,
Wonder Woman!
Oh!
Looks
Gal Gadot
awesome.
looks amazing.
So at first, like, when it was coming out, Gal Gadot was in it, they kind of made it sound like, oh, she's shooting her cameo, like, walking in her suit. But then I'm like, the more we've heard, it's like, no, she's, like, in this movie.
Legit in it.
And she's, like, legit Wonder Woman in it. She's not just,
No.
I mean, she's, like, fighting, and it looks awesome. So
That was
that
one of
was
my
like, my
favorite
most,
parts of the whole
that was
trailer,
probably what I was
yeah.
most excited about,
Yeah.
other than also Batman. And then they made a really interesting choice. Actually, I think it was Seth, our friend Seth had tweeted. He goes, because he had clearly just watched it, and I'm going to butcher it probably. I should have brought it up so I could have said it correctly.
Sorry,
But
Seth.
he goes, you know who would make a good Lex Luthor is that kid from Zombieland. And then it was like, said someone who miraculously wasn't fired immediately. And because I'm like, talk about caricature, because
the
what's
worst.
he doing?
He's the worst. How do they make a guy who actually has hair look like a bald guy in a wig?
Yeah!
What?
Why did they do that?
Why did
And
they do
also, I guess I always thought that Batman and Superman were, like, in their primes together.
Right.
Whereas clearly, this is like a young Lex Luthor,
Yeah.
but an old Batman.
and like an older like Superman.
Well, Superman's kind of
Like I guess, but older than Lex seems. I don't know. He's ambiguous. I suppose.
Yeah, he just is beautiful in his, like, timeless beauty. And that jawline, too. God, that jawline is beautiful. Anyway, so I actually was excited about it. I thought it looked really cool. I really liked the Batman scene. I know you had said it kind of looks like two different movies going on. And I do like the part at the very end when he, like, opens up the Batmobile and Batman just kind of stands up. And you're like, oh. But I'm also like, how are you going to fight him? He's Superman.
Yeah.
You've acknowledged this.
Yeah,
you know?
this is problematic.
And also Diane Lane is like,
dude.
she gets kind of like crazy, because usually Ma Kent is like, oh, Superman, like, Clark, I love you, don't be anything dangerous, and she's like cute, and she's like, you don't owe them anything, and she's like giving him this talk. I'm like, bruh, get it, girl, like, yeah,
No,
like,
she
he
looks-
doesn't owe you
She
anything.
looks legit.
She looks like she's owning it.
Yeah, I
So.
think I would say I'm excited-ish for this. As excited as I could possibly be about a Superman movie.
I'm gonna take
I
that.
am
I'm
about
taking that as a
Yeah.
positive endorsement of this
But,
film.
Yeah, but I do feel like when I was watching it, I was like, this seems like two different movies. Like, Batman's thing, it seems like entirely different from, like, Superman's thing. Like,
Although
not entirely
Superman
different, but-
inflicted his thing on Batman.
Right. It's just, it seems like they're giving a lot...
Yep.
They're giving a lot...
Nope.
A lot of, like, story to Batman and things like that, like,
Mm.
which I'm sure maybe in the movie it doesn't come across that way, but the
Trailer
really frames it around
But I feel like it's
Batman.
because it's kind of a sequel to the Superman movie, so you've already gotten
Yes,
the
you've
Superman
got-
story,
yeah.
and so you already know what
They're trusting
happened.
that you know why this whole...
Right. You're trusting why. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
So now they have to justify to us, like, this is why we're putting Batman in this movie.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm like sold just on like Ben Affleck alone
Yeah. And Gal Gadot.
and Gal Gadot.
Being
Yeah.
super awesome.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
and she's getting her own movie, right? I
Yeah,
didn't make
think
that up.
so. Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because it was Chris Pine that was going to be
oh, that's
her love
right,
interest in it, or what is his name,
yeah.
Steve something?
I don't know.
Everyone's name is Steve.
I don't follow Wonder Woman.
Me neither.
Yeah, everybody's name is Steve. Just that's safe. It's probably Steve.
Steve!
Steve.
She
Hey,
loves
Steve.
She loves you, Steve. I could never forgive myself if I came between Mary and her true love. He's a doctor.
Oh, Mismo, Masmo.
Any kind of mo. I toast to make what I see fit.
That's a wedding planner
Sorry.
interlude there.
Melanie will get that one.
Yeah, there we go.
So yeah, anyway. So I guess the end of this story is that excited about Batman Superman. More excited about Batman Superman than we are about Suicide Squad.
Yeah, by a long shot. It's not even, they're not in the same competition.
Yeah. Also, I would like to say this too. I really like Amy Adams, and I didn't like
forgot about her.
I didn't like Kate Bosworth as Lois Lane in the other Superman with Brandon Routh, and so I actually really like Amy Adams. I really liked her in Superman.
Yeah, she's great.
Whatever
Amy
the
Adams
other
can
one
do
was.
anything, man.
She really can, and she's just delightful.
She's
So
a delight.
She is.
About that.
Just lovely. So, we're going to take a break. Let's come back to the highlights. Let's finish the trailers.
I was like, we're going to take a break?
No.
Do we do that now?
We're taking a commercial break.
After these messages.
By Carnation Milk.
Back.
Okay. We're not really taking a break. I just meant we're going to
Break from
exit our Comic-Con trailers and go just to regular, normal trailers. Yeah. So we got a full-length trailer for Amy Poehler, Tina Fey's movie Sisters.
Oh my gosh.
Ridiculous.
I was like practically crying laughing. It was so good. It's like inverse Baby Mama.
Yeah.
So like this time Tina Fey is like the screw up instead of Amy Poehler. Oh my gosh.
It looks pretty funny. It's also weird because Ike Barinholtz is also in this one.
Yeah, as the hot guy.
As the hot guy.
And he's working.
He's pulling it off.
He's pulling it off. He looks like a Wahlberg. I don't, like,
maybe
there were multiple
related
times
to him.
that I was like, it's like Mark Wahlberg.
And it also feels wrong to think that he's so attractive because he's such a goober on Mindy Project. And
yeah.
But he's like, I don't know.
I mean, I follow his Instagram, so sometimes I'm like, yeah, weirdly.
You're gonna, actually, yeah, I'm into it. So it looks really funny. You guys should really just watch it, because there's a scene where they're trying on clothes where I almost peed my pants when I laughed for the first time.
Yeah.
She has the dress, and it's like, oh, it's great. What is she called? Underteat?
Underteat. There's a lot of underteat in it. And it's like, essentially the storyline is about like two sisters whose childhood home is being sold, and so they decide to have like a final or a first house party.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like Amy Poehler. Yeah, they never got to really have one, and so they decided to throw this big party, and so.
Yeah, and Maya Rudolph is in it.
Yeah, and a bunch of they seemingly invite college students. It looks like young people, like they don't know anybody to come to their party, but I don't know. It looks pretty funny.
I'm in 110%.
I mean, it can't be bad because those two are gold,
right?
So.
Like that's the thing is I even like Baby Mama, and that's probably like.
Baby
From
Mama?
an objective standpoint,
so
probably
funny,
not a great movie.
Oh,
but
I liked it.
It
has the greatest one-liners in it.
I know. And this is full of those great one-liners and like ridiculous, absurd situations.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, in that, when you guys watch the trailer and see that whole dressing room scene, it's like it basically is like every conversation you have when you do go shopping with friends.
Totally.
And you come out and you're like, what? How does this? I don't understand how this is supposed to work. Like, I don't understand. And it works perfectly.
It works.
They get us.
They do.
You know?
They do. I mean, we're basically them.
Obviously.
But not as cool or
fun. We're either Kathy Lee and Hoda or Amy Poehler and Tina Fey.
I'd rather be the latter then.
I know. We don't get that. We don't get to make that decision.
We should be able to.
Life decides that for us. I'd like to think we're somewhere between, if we can give ourselves that much.
Okay.
We're some sort of middle ground.
I'll give you that.
Between the Today Show.
I'll take it.
Yeah, okay. I feel better about it now. But you guys watch the trailer.
Watch it.
So
it's really good.
Funny. And then just imagine me sitting here in Kristen's office, like, crying,
giggling.
and then Kristen backing up in her chair so that she can kind of like...
I'm like, I've already seen it. I'm going to work while you do this. But seriously, what part? Oh, that part's so good. Yeah, and then we have, if you can believe this, actually, this is actually really exciting, is David O. Russell has written and directed a movie starring, you'll never guess, Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper.
What?
And Robert De Niro.
No.
I know.
This is a bold new move for him.
A bold casting choice.
It
is.
is.
So unknown, casting these people,
Really?
like, you don't know if they're going to have chemistry or how they're going to work together.
David O. Russell's he's just such a risk taker.
I know he is.
And I think that's what people appreciate the most about him, is that he's really, sometimes you find a formula and it works. No. That's not his...
No, he does not go with formulas one bit, this guy.
Not at all. This has happened a couple times.
In case you've missed the boat on the past 4 movies that Jennifer Lawrence has done, they've all been with Bradley Cooper and David O. Russell. So.
Serena wasn't David O. Russell, right?
It wasn't?
I don't think
I guess I just assumed because Bradley Cooper was in it.
No, because I think that had like a disaster. I think the director was a female, and I think the whole process was like a huge disaster.
Oh, that's why I went straight to Netflix?
Because it was a woman.
Oh.
That's why. No. It was just like a disaster of a film. But I actually, to be fair, I love I love American Hustle and I love Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah.
So I'm actually like, again, 110% in.
Yeah, and also, don't read our sarcasm as in we're not excited. That your trailer looks, I actually like it because I feel like it's very, I don't know. Honestly, also not entirely sure what the plot is.
Nope. Not at all.
There is a lot happening. And it looks fun, and she looks kick-ass in it.
Yeah, I mean, she's just sort of... I think one of the fun things about this is, like, J-Law is a totally the headliner of this. Like, her name
Yeah.
is before De Niro, before Bradley
yeah.
Cooper. Like, this is
her movie. She was second fiddle to Bradley Cooper in Silver Linings, and then she was tertiary in...
Tertiary? This is too many R's. It's way too many R's.
It's like, they got as many R's in there as they've got actors in Suicide Squad. But nailed it.
Take that one to the bank.
But in American Hustle was the point of that sentence.
Hustle was where she's going to say. And this is her vehicle right here, and it looks, I don't know, yeah, she looks badass, and it's very unclear what's going on. There's just a lot of shots of people rushing around and looking worried and distraught, and
but then also happy.
Ends with her shooting a gun and being like, "Oh, my name's Joy, by the way," and
I'm like,
it's a very Betty Draper sort of moment, and I'm like,
oh, I don't know what that means.
From Mad Men.
Well, I know who she is, but I don't understand that reference.
There's this one episode of Mad Men that ends with Betty Draper going outside with a cigarette in her mouth and a gun and shooting her neighbor's pigeons out of the air, and it's like amazing.
Oh.
It's a great moment. It sounds terrible, but it's a great moment.
You have to see it. It's one of those, you know.
Yeah, you had to be there. Regardless, this is I think that's a winning combination.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it can be.
I know a lot of people don't. I don't know. They're super critical of that combination of David O. Russell's movies.
Well, I feel like more people were critical of Silver Linings than they were of American Hustle. I
thought the opposite.
Oh, really? I guess maybe we read different reviews.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I just made that up. It's possible. We often make things up on this show.
Yeah. I mean, I heard a lot of criticism from both, but American Hustle I felt like was the sort of cool thing to say you hated when it came out.
I thought that about Silver Linings.
I guess it's just because they're maybe popular.
It's because it's Jennifer Lawrence. We talked about this. It's that whole thing. It's like, oh, it's cool to hate her. I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's douchey to hate her
because she's a great actress
and I love her and an adorable person.
Yeah.
Did you hear? I was watching this clip, and she was being interviewed at something, and they were talking about The Passengers, right? So that's the movie she's going to be in with Chris Pratt. And she was like, I was so excited when I heard it was Chris Pratt. Like, I cannot wait to work with him. And I'm like, yes, it's going to be so good. So, anyway,
that makes me really happy.
And apparently she got a tattoo. She was hanging out with Liam Hemsworth and his family for some reason.
Why not?
And they went to go get tattoos, because that's what you do when you hang out with your friends.
Yeah.
And she got an H2O, but the 2, the 2 is supposed to be low.
Huh?
You know, like
oh,
H2O?
yeah, like the sub, yeah.
Yeah, but the 2 is supposed to be low,
yeah.
But it's, like, high in it. It's, like, totally wrong, but she's like, whatever. Like,
why did she get H2O? Did she explain it?
I was thinking about drinking more water, I think.
Just a reminder.
Yeah.
Like, some of us said this thing in our phones, like, go drink more water. She's like, I should probably tattoo it.
Probably. So I can stop writing it. I keep writing it with a Sharpie on my hand.
Yeah. I mean, I can get down with a pragmatic tattoo. That's like,
I know.
Makes sense.
So.
Like Dashboard Confessional has like a song called Remember to Breathe. I always assumed that was a pragmatic reminder.
It's true, when you're distraught, sometimes it's hard to remember.
Sometimes you gotta remember. And Chris Carrabba's always distraught.
No, he is always.
That
well, when he got not distraught, it was.
Yeah, and then it was useless.
It was no fun. I don't want to listen to him.
Sorry, Chris.
Sorry, Chris. When you were happy, we did not really care anymore.
No.
But anyway, so that's the trailers.
That's the trailers.
We're gonna post them, so make sure you watch them. You'll like them.
Watch those.
Then here we're gonna go back just some Comic-Con highlights that I personally picked myself, because
she handpicked all of them.
I handpicked these highlights.
She did a good job.
The first one also actually has a video, so we will link to it. But it was there was an epic DubSmash battle. So I don't know if you guys know what DubSmash is. It's basically like a lip syncing app.
Yeah,
I guess is what it is. And so it started out. I follow Haley Atwell. I think I've probably mentioned I have a huge girl crush on Haley Atwell. I think she's beautiful and wonderful. Have I? That's weird. Have I talked about this show, Agent Carter, before? Maybe I've mentioned it. Anyway, so I follow her on Instagram, and so she always actually does dub smashes. And I was like, thought it was cool. But then she started doing them and when she was obviously at Comic-Con this weekend, James, is it Darcy? Is that how you say it?
I feel like it's Darcy.
Okay, Darcy so he plays...
The apostrophe is silent.
The apostrophe is silent? That's very confusing. It's Jarvis from Agent Carter. They started doing them together, and they're like, hilarious! And I'm like, these are so great! And then I'm seeing on the internet that she's actually battling with Clark Gregg and Chloe Bennett from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I think we've also talked about how endearing and wonderful we find Clark Gregg, so this is clearly my dream come true. So someone actually has compiled and done like a Mortal Kombat sort of video. It's like, round 1! And then they are showing the videos in succession against each other, and they are hilarious. Like,
you guys, you need
really
to do yourself a favor.
They're like, each little video is like 7 seconds or something. They're really short. So it's just like portion of songs, but they are amazing.
Yeah. And one of them ends with Clark Gregg dressed as Agent Carter.
Yeah.
And it's magical.
It's magical. And it's so beautiful. And so it was kind of like, and it was great because on that last one, he got like the entire cast of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in it.
It's like a whole
It's like this whole
thing.
It was just wonderful.
What was the one that I like died on that James Darcy did?
It was, was it the one where he was doing the Taylor Swift or the one before that when he was doing?
Oh, it was the goat one.
Yeah.
The goat was great. I feel like there was another one.
Love Shack?
It might have been Love Shack.
Okay.
I don't know. There's a couple of them that, like, the Taylor Swift goat version is great. They're so
It was so good.
funny. And I mean, this is one of the fun things about Comic-Con is that you get all these people in one place, but they're not shooting.
Yeah.
And so, like, they're mostly just having fun. Like,
totally.
This is kind of like a working vacation in a sense. So they do, like, all these kinds of fun things. You get to see, like, what they do as friends to amuse themselves and to amuse us, obviously. And that's good branding, and it warms the heart.
It does.
It looks like, you know, they show sort of a blooper thing at the end of it, you know, and like James Darcy's just like laughing super hard about Clark Gregg in the thing, and he's like, oh, Haley is going to like
she's gonna be pissed.
Like, and they're like talking about how funny it is, and you're just like, it's so great.
And they're like all there together.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I really love too about it, is it just seems like they just seem like they're having fun, and it's made for them to be able to interact with the people that watch their shows, and so they are doing fun things like this for us, just, you know, a little bit for them, but also for us, which it's just fun. So it's a cool thing. It's okay. You've been traveling.
I know.
So
I've
been
been traveling.
It's that time change
between
between
a house
here
with
and
a
Texas.
baby, so like sleep is not like a firm thing.
Yeah.
The guest room was next to the baby room.
Ooh.
Yeah. Very loud baby.
Oh yeah.
But last night she was nice though. She knew that I was going to have to get up early. So
good of her.
Thank you, Chloe. Thank you for being good.
It's adorable.
Chloe doesn't listen, but her mom does. So you can pass on the message, Chels.
Yes. Also, congratulations on your baby.
Congratulations on your baby.
Yeah. Other things that happened is so Supernatural, and I don't know if you guys, how big of followers you guys are on Supernatural. We, for one, love Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki. We just think they're adorable and wonderful and amazing. And so
it's another like set of people, like that whole cast, that group of people who like we like how much they like each other.
Yes, and especially them, like they vacation together.
Yeah.
It's like they spend every day, all day, like 9 months out of the year together.
and then they spend their free time together.
Yeah, and then they spend their free time together. And their wives are friends, and their kids all hang out, and I'm like, I just love it so much.
Precious.
So if you guys know anything about Jared Padalecki, and recently actually he's even kind of been a little bit in the news, is he struggles with depression and anxiety, and he started kind of a foundation to help the organization to write Love on Our Arms. So he started something called Always Keep Fighting, just to kind of remind people, like, always keep pushing through, like, this isn't the end, you know, to kind of help people and raise money for awareness and that type of thing. And then recently they were actually at a convention in Italy, I think it was, and he had to leave to go home because he was, like, having a little bit of a breakdown, and he was like, I just need to be with my family, and everyone was just, it was amazing how supportive they were, and he just like it was like on Facebook, he's like, I'm sorry I couldn't be there, I really just need to be home with my family, if you guys could send anything, like, just encouragement, that'd be great.
That was the surprising thing when he, like, asked people, like, just please kind words. Like, that's crazy. You know, like, that.
Totally.
You're like, that's amazing that he relies on, like, his fan base to be like, you know.
I just need some
kindness. He didn't say, like, please respect my privacy at this time. He was like, please, just send me some positivity.
Totally. And it was just amazing. And so it was a really cool thing that he's done. And both him and Jensen have been kind of doing Supernatural, like, I don't want to call it paraphernalia. What do you call it?
Yeah, I mean,
merchandise?
Yeah,
merchandise. It's like a mixture of, like, Supernatural merchandise plus this Always Keep Fighting. And so it's been a really cool thing. And so they're at having their panel at Comic-Con, and the lights had kind of gone out, and all of these little lights kind of turn on. Everyone's holding these lights. And he has, like, zero clue what's going on. And Jared is up there, and he's like, okay, like, he thought people had their cell phone lights on, and so he's like, I don't really know what's going on, what's happening right now? And then someone hands him, and they had made these little, like, electronic tea lights that said, always keep fighting, like, love your supernatural family or something, and it even had, so if you guys watch Supernatural, they had the tattoo to keep them from being possessed, and it was like that was on there, and it was just this cool thing, and they hand it to him, and he's like, oh my gosh, and he wrote, we'll link to it, he wrote this beautiful, just thank you, heartfelt, so heartfelt thank you to his fans and to everyone who was there. It was like, I'm sorry, like, at first I didn't know what was going on, I was very confused, but then when I figured it out, like, that was just the most beautiful, like, wonderful thing, and the way that they interacted with each other was just, like, it was wonderful. And even Jensen, I think, later wrote something that was like, that was so great, like, you guys are amazing. So.
And did you see the picture, too, of Jensen comforting the crying fan?
Yes, the little girl.
Yeah.
I almost cried. I was like, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. I don't even think she's like that little girl. I mean, like, it
was hard to tell because of the table.
Like she was probably like 16 or so, you know,
Maybe,
but
yeah.
whatever the case was, it's like he's reaching across the table and she's crying and he's
look on
like
his face,
smiling,
yeah.
you know, like just sort of like, it's okay, and it was delightful. Like, just that cast. This is why the fandom of it is, like, such a thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, the show itself is great and everybody likes it, but, I mean, the only reason it's been on for as many seasons as it has is, like, really because people care about the people on it. We don't want to see anything break them apart.
Yeah, as people, they care about them.
As people.
And then Nisha, you know, has his big gishwiz? I never say it right.
Is there a way to say it?
I don't know. Anyway, it's a gigantic scavenger hunt that's, like, all over the world that people do. And actually, my roommate a couple years ago did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she actually met him at a house. They were, like, doing some kind of community service project, but it was, like, in Pasadena. And she's like, I'm going! And her and her brother went and met him there, and he was there with his son, and he took and it was like it was like you had to take a picture with him, and so obviously only a certain amount of people who are close by in that area get to do it, and so she got to take a picture with him, and I was like, that is so cool. So yeah, and then actually my friend Stephanie, who you know, was there at Comic-Con. She works for T Fury, and she sent me a bunch of pictures, like her and Elijah Wood, and her, and she's like, I met Misha Collins, but I didn't take a picture with him. I was like, I'm sorry, could you back up? She's like, well, I felt like a poser because I don't really watch Supernatural. I was like, but you have friends that do.
Yeah, that's a taking one for the team.
Yeah,
issue.
that's when you just say,
I
don't watch your show, but I have friends that love you.
Flip out.
Yeah. So, but anyway, but she did talk to him, and she said he was very nice. So,
of course he is. Cool. He's from Greenfield, Mass.
What? There you go. So anyway, but it was really fun, and that was a lot of feels. I was definitely had something in my eye when I was reading that. I was like, oh, just
cutting some onions while
so
watching
good.
that.
And then another one that actually gave me tears and goosebumps in a very different manner was the Star Wars released kind of a Comic-Con reel, they're calling it. And it's sort of a trailer, sort of a behind-the-scenes, sort of people just talking about how great Star Wars is.
Yep. Like the people who are working on it and are starring in it.
Are like nerding out about it. Yeah. And I think it was a stormtrooper that was like,
I can die now.
This is the epitome of my life. Yeah. Like, I'm so excited. And I think Simon Pegg is like
freaking out. He's just like, I live Star Wars. Like, and he's... Oh, it's great.
It's just really cool, and they're right. They're saying it's a great mixture of, like, they're keeping it with, like, there's practical effects, which J.J. Abrams is known for being a real big fan of. So we'll link to that video too. It's just fun. If you're excited about Star Wars, just watch it. It'll make you just connect with the people in it, and especially the younger stars, who I feel like, the older people like Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, like, they have a connection, but like these young people are like, oh my gosh. And,
I mean, coming from, obviously, like, Star Wars is not necessarily my thing, but watching this, I'm like, no, I get this.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
And it's hard not to be excited about what they're creating, especially, I think, what transcends even Star Wars fandom is this sense of using these, like, practical effects and everything, because that's such a lost art in this day and age, you know?
Totally.
And so there's something sort of magical about seeing, like, someone in, like, this incredible costume go up and, like, talk as this character, and, like, I believe them because it's, it's makeup and it's, latex and whatever they're making it out of, that's so much more real than, like, the things that you craft out of CGI, because I feel like, in general, even watching something that's, a bajillion-dollar thing like the Avengers, like, there's never a point where I think the Hulk looks real.
Yeah.
He always looks CGI. And there's something about these practical effects that you're like, no, this is, like, I believe that's an alien that exists. I'm completely sold on that as a thing, and so I think there's a magic in it, watching it, that comes from a total suspension of disbelief that I don't think we really get to enjoy as, like, adults in a very digital age.
Yeah.
I suppose. Like, I'm sure little kids think
you're a Timex watch in a digital age, John.
Precisely.
Anyway, but I think what you had said is it's very reminiscent to a Jurassic Park,
Yeah,
the first one, right?
exactly.
Where that was where it's like you know they had the fake dinosaurs, and like when he's on the Triceratops, like if that had been a CGI Triceratops, you would have known. But it's like
yeah,
that
like,
could be a real dinosaur.
Yeah,
like
I
it looks
he's
real,
on a dinosaur.
you know. And
Yeah.
and so yeah, and I think too it's just like such a passion project for so many people that it'll be super
I just
cool.
got sight of your NSYNC folder, but I mean
That's
that
a gift bag.
Oh, nice.
Gift bag. One of my coworkers gave me that.
The Jurassic Park thing. I got distracted by NSYNC. Jurassic Park, Practical Effects. Oh, because I was watching Jurassic Park 3 the other day. I know.
On purpose?
I can't, like,
Was
that's
it on
my thing
TV?
is, as much as I hate that movie, I watch all the Jurassic Park, thank you, all the Jurassic Park movies. I mean, it's fine.
It's fine.
I watch all the Jurassic Park movies often, so even the one I don't like, I watch fairly regularly. But it's so not real looking, you know? It's like all the pterodactyls and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't buy that pterodactyl picked up that guy and threw him. Like, it's a CGI thing, and he's on a rope, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that's what's so fun about watching the Star Wars thing and going back to Star Trek and, you know, anything, even like your Indiana Jones and your anything Spielberg, really, and your old school George Lucas, before he went to the dark side.
Yeah.
You know, all of that stuff. So it's really magical. I'm saying this, you guys. So you should definitely watch
listen.
that. Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty exciting. Yeah. And then last thing that we don't really have any footage for you because it didn't. There were things that were leaked for Deadpool and X-Men Apocalypse, but I didn't watch them because I don't like leaked things unless they're good quality. So if it's someone with a camera, I'm like, no, I'll just wait till I can actually watch a good version of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I have better, you know, self-control than most people. So.
This is true. But apparently, like, from the uproar around them, like, Deadpool, I've been hearing a lot about looking super
incredible.
great.
Yeah. And they've had those little pictures, like, promo pictures, and he's, like, dressed in, like, the sombrero, and he's like, oh, I'm trying to get to San Diego, and he's, like, doing all these funny things, and he has a gun pointed at the bear, or, like, when he's, like, the one where he was on the rug in front of the fireplace, I about died. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I'm like, literally, I could not even see a trailer, but based off that picture, I would see it.
I would see this movie.
I'm like,
I've really gotten into Deadpool a lot lately. I've been reading a lot of Deadpool comics. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I lent you any Deadpool, but I should. And I'm just like, I started reading Night of the Living Deadpool, and after reading that I was like, I want to read more, and so I'm super stoked for the character. I didn't really like the trailer that they released like a year ago or whatever, the test footage that they did for it.
I didn't even see that.
It felt too much like, it was too Spider-Man-y to me, like which Deadpool and Spider-Man are kind of similar in their like quippy, you know, that kind of thing. The characters tend to break the fourth wall and all that, but like Deadpool is definitely a way more adult character.
Where it's rated R. They got that rated R rating, so they were stoked about that.
And so I think that, like, now hearing what people are saying about this trailer, which I will wait for it to be in high quality and all that kind of stuff, I'm stoked, you know? I think it's going to be fun because Deadpool's a super fun character, super witty and hilarious, but it's also clearly with an R rating going to be, like, bonkers as well. So.
Right. Well, and Ryan Reynolds had said, like, give it, like, 3 weeks, and we'll give it to you. Like, it's coming. Just give us a little bit of time. So I'm like, I can wait 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll probably forget by the end of this week, and so then when it comes out, I'll be like, oh, my gosh, it's here! What? So, but then also X-Men Apocalypse, also, apparently, I don't know if they actually had any footage. I just remember, I guess I just remember, no, I feel like the story seems lame. Because now I'm really kind of forgetting.
Where she heard anything.
Other than I just remember seeing, like, a picture of, it was, like, Michael Fassbender, no, it was Hugh Jackman and James McAvoy with his bald head.
Yeah, it's
so unnerving, and he's so small, and then it was Ryan Reynolds, and it was the three of them all together.
Here's the thing, he is small, but he's, like, really muscular right now, and so, like, him with the bald head, and, like, every time I see him in things, and I've seen a couple of things from their panel and all that, I'm, like, weirded out, because I'm like, he seems like a skinhead or something, like, it's so, it weirds me out so much every time I see it, so it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. But it looks like they had a great time on that panel. Yeah. And I'm excited to... I
was already excited for that one.
Yeah,
that one was
kind of... Like, I've been disappointed once with X-Men.
No, the third one.
The third one.
The first one. The third one of the first grouping?
Yes. Of first franchise?
I don't even know how to call it. Whatever.
I don't know. That's the only time that it's really ever...
I was like, eh. You're right, because I love First Class.
I haven't seen the second Wolverine movie, but I even liked the first Wolverine movie. So, like, in general, I'm great with X-Men. It's fine. Yeah. So I was obviously already excited about it. It's just seeing stuff happen now. I'm like,
yeah. And this was similar to like where they were all hanging out too, you know. And I was like, oh, they're all friends. It's so great. Yeah. So, anyway, it was pretty cool. So we're excited about that. And then one little extra tidbit, which is very exciting, is that there was a little bird. Literally, is on Twitter. Get it? See what I did there? I did. You're so clever. Dan Akroyd dropped a little hinty hint that he was filming something with Kristen Wiig, and therefore will be in Ghostbusters. What? Don't know anything really about it, other than he's filming something with her. I don't really want to know anything about it, actually. I know. That's so I didn't actually read it, other than I knew he was going to be in it, and so I'm like, I don't want to know what the scene is. I don't know if he is playing
the same character, if he's, like...
just going to allude to the... I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't, like... we don't know at this point whether these Ghostbusters exist in a universe in which the old Ghostbusters exist.
Right.
So he could be someone entirely different.
So we're not, I don't know, I'm not going to read the article, actually. I just saw it was a headline. I gave it to you in case you wanted to read it.
I saw the tweet.
Oh,
I
you
didn't
saw
read
the
whole
tweet.
article.
Oh, okay.
I got to the point.
I got to the point. So anyway, that was kind of what we did. So that's exciting. So that movie just continues to, and they're kind of fun because I feel like they're releasing little,
it's just like
to remind you that it's going to be cool. So it's little
and I'm,
things for us.
As I said last week, I'm just so sick of, like, the negativity towards it, and now I'm starting to see more people really calling that out, you know, and being like, okay, like, really, there's nothing that has come out so far that should be angering the fans to the degree that they are, you know, like, they're really just so closed off to this, this idea in a way that's bizarre, because it's all people we like, you know, we knew there was going to be
Chris Hemsworth is going to be Janine, you guys.
Yeah, like, just that alone.
That alone should make you want to see it.
Yeah. I don't understand. And, you know, is it Paul Feig who's directing this too? Yeah. It's Paul Feig. Like, I don't see really how this is going to go wrong.
I don't see how it is either.
So, you know, get your act together, people who don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Because, these little, like, tidbits that keep coming out every week are just so exciting. And I'm stoked for it. I don't know when it comes out. I mean, since they're filming it, it's got to be a ways away.
I thought it was next year.
I mean, that would make sense.
That would make sense.
Yeah. So. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty good. I'm also stoked for this as well. So, those were our picked highlights from Comic-Con. If you guys have some of your own, we'd love to hear them. If you went and you have something that you want to share with us, please let us know. We'd love to hear first-hand accounts of things, or something that maybe you think we've missed in our highlights of this event. I made that word up. It's not real. But it sounds like
where does the lation come from?
I don't know. It's like if you have a book that has a bunch of highlighting marks, instead of saying that, I'm like, oh, this book has a bunch of highlights in it.
Okay, got it. I was trying to figure out if it was what do they call that when you bring two words together? I was saying mondegreen, and that's not what I mean.
I don't know what that is. I'm not that good at grammar. Anyway, so tell us. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to hang out again this week. You guys get to hear from us twice. We have our book club, Fancave Fiction Club, this coming Friday. That is the 17th of July. I was like, at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yes.
We're going to be doing a Google Hangout, hopefully.
Yep.
Fingers
we'll post
crossed.
the link.
We will post the link.
It'll be on the blog. It'll be on the Goodreads page, so friend us on Goodreads.
It'll be on, we'll put it on Facebook, we'll tweet it, we'll put it all the places, but in case you have read it, we are talking about All the Light We Cannot See, and so we'd love for you guys to join us in that discussion. I think it's going to be a really fun talk. Hopefully people have read it by this point. It's been like 4 months.
It's been a million years. So.
And we know that Melanie has thoughts on it. I have definite thoughts on it. I'm super stoked to talk about it, so we're going to be doing that. So hope you guys join us in hearing that. Even if you haven't read it, if you want to just come and listen, then we'd love to do that also, or if you've only read half of it. Do know that you'll get it spoiled, because we'll do that.
That's the way it is.
Anyway, yeah, so that's it. I think, do you have anything else that we wanted to hit on? I think we've hit the highlights.
We've hit all the highlights.
All the highlights. You guys can totally steal that word if you want. Anyway, so that's it. So make sure you guys follow us on Facebook and on Twitter, and follow and read the blog, and you can make sure you catch us on iTunes, rate and review us, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, all of those places. Take a listen, share us with your friends. We'd love to have them join our little posse here. or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know what
yeah.
We'll call it a posse.
Yeah, we'll do a posse. It's cool. Anyway, so we'd love to do that. So for this week, I'm Kristen Lutterell.
I'm Corgan Vaughn.
Take it easy, kids.
Peace out, everybody.
Psych! I bet you really thought we were going to end the podcast right there, right? So ridiculous. Am I right, Kristen?
So ridiculous. You guys, come on.
We got them. We really pulled the wool over on them. As you heard in last week's episode, I was in Texas and didn't have my computer while I was there. Ended up sort of sticking around Orange County, didn't have my computer. Also, one of my computers is broken. And so basically, I have not gotten a chance to post last week's episode. So instead, for episode 70, you just get a supersized fan cave.
What? Supersize it. Hold the pickles. Do it up big. Come to my love. I'll be a hungry pig. Come on and supersize. Do you guys remember that song?
Nope.
Okay.
But it was amazing, and I loved it. This, just before we forget, because Kristen's singing is a good reminder, in the time between recording last week's and this week's podcast, we also recorded another podcast.
What? We cheated on the fan
We
cave.
cheated on the fan cave, the both of us. And we recorded Crimes Against Pop Culture, and that should be coming out in a couple days. Crimes Against Pop Culture is hosted by our friends Ricky and Jerry, because Jerry has never seen any movies ever.
Yeah.
It's he's a Geeks Who Drink quizmaster who never gets any of our references.
Yeah, he never gets any. That's how I feel like we are. Our team names usually kill it, but he's like, I don't know what that means.
Exactly.
So we're like,
yeah, we feel a little
killing
we're
us,
like
Gary.
Marty McFly every week, you're just not ready for it, Jerry. But
that either.
so we their podcast conceit basically is that they watch movies that Jerry has never seen before, and sometimes Ricky too. And then they discuss them. So big movies that kind of are a big part of the pop culture lexicon. And so naturally, since they were watching Mean Girls, they had to invite us.
Obviously.
Yeah, I think that much is clear. So we did that this Sunday, and as soon as there is a link to it, we will link it up on the Fancave Facebook, and in the blog and all that kind of stuff, and on the Tweety, and you guys can check it out. It was a lot of fun.
It was super fun.
We
did kind of hijack their podcast.
We took over a little bit. Surprise.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know this about us. We're kind of overbearing.
I was going to go with overwhelming. Overbearing sounds even worse.
I don't know. I just feel like I'm just...
But it's true.
It kind of made me think of that one picture that... And you weren't even involved in this picture, but it just made me think of this picture that someone had posted from your wedding, where it's me and the Frobergs and Hillary.
Yes.
And it's all of us, I think even Emily is in it, and we're swarming Keo, and we're he had something on his collar, and we're all over him. I'm oh my gosh, we are so, what are we doing here? It's we're invited, and we just
so stressed
took
out.
over, and and he's kind of doing this lean back thing, and we're and that's what it made me think of when I'm we just come in here, and we're oh, you guys are here, that's nice, but this is technically our podcast now, so thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
Because we were just oh, have you seen this? And we just keep going, and they were so overwhelmed, and of course Jerry.
This is why Matt Vest only invites one of us at a time onto his podcast.
Let's be listen to you people who want us on your podcast. Both at the same time, you won't ever talk. We'll just kind of pretend like you're there.
We barely leave time to breathe in our own, so just trying to share the environment is difficult.
But it was fun. They seemed to laugh at us a lot, so I guess they didn't mind that we took over.
Yeah, that's all we hope for, is that it's not super obnoxious, and that, it's,
if it is, tell us, and we'll try and, I don't know what we'll do.
I don't know how much we can change that.
We can't really
We're
stop
nearly
it. We're
30 years
we're
old.
a freight train, We're just gonna...
Not a lot you can do at this point.
You can't stop us, and you won't stop us.
I know that song.
'Cause we're super overbearing, coming in and taking over. That was not even the right tune at that point.
I got it, though. I felt it.
So
the Miley vibe was there.
Yeah.
So that happened this weekend. You know what else happened this weekend?
Rain fell from the sky. So clearly the apocalypse is happening.
Yeah.
Because it was warm and raining, which is weird.
This was intolerable to everyone in Southern California.
California's what do we do?
Yeah.
Well,
we better just run into each other with our cars. It's the only thing left at this point.
It's like Mad Max.
It really, it's insanity. The weird thing, California's been in a drought for a long time. So this is sort of a double-edged sword because it's like, obviously, the rain is a great thing to have. The problem is when a place has been in a drought for a really long time, like the ground's not prepared for the water, like, and it's Southern California, so they just like have never acknowledged it rains ever. So buildings aren't meant for it, streets aren't meant for it, nothing like that. So everything went to hell in a handbasket when it rained this weekend. I attempted to see Dashboard Confessional, what? And Third Eye Blind at the Irvine, I was about to say Irvine Spectrum, Irvine Meadows Amphitheater. So we were like walking up. So Kristen, you've been to Irvine before, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there's like, basically you have to kind of hike to get up to your seats in this place. And there's like this hill that they have, and you have to cross like this little bridge thing that goes over kind of like a ravine that
bridge
I guess
over troubled water.
Yeah, definitely
Literally.
was this time. It was kind of under troubled water this time. And so we like walk up and we see like a crowd standing at this bridge, and we're like, what's going on? And like we walk up and realize that it's just covered over in water, and people are standing there like scratching their heads like, what do we do? So we were there like an hour early. And we're like, huh. And so eventually I'm like, screw it, I'll walk across. And so I ford the river, you know, we go through, people are trying to do that. There's someone who works there in a golf cart being like, I can take up 5 at a time, just wait here. I'm like, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not willing to cross the river, you don't get to see a concert.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
what it is.
it's like Oregon Trail. Sometimes you just have
Right?
to forge ahead, otherwise you're gonna get left behind.
Yeah. Which, by the way,
And-
I made a reference to that to one of the like security people there.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm playing Oregon Trail, and she was like, you don't seem old enough to remember that, and I was like, thank you.
You're like, also, I'm at a Dashboard Confessional and Third Eye Blind concert. Clearly, I'm old enough to know what Oregon Trail
That's
is.
what I was saying. I was like, I like think this crowd is going to basically, like, you're not going to see anyone under the age of 27 in this entire audience. Like, there's just no one outside that range that's going to have any interest in this. But I was grateful for that anyway. Like, oh, you're sweet. Marry me. But so we go up to our seats and we get drinks and all that kind of stuff. And we're sitting there, and the drinks at Irvine are like insanely expensive too. It's like $14 a pop. We're sitting there and, you know, just drinking and waiting, and it's raining on us. We're soaking wet, all that kind of stuff.
But it's warm, so it's like
Yeah, it's
fun,
warm. Like, it's fine. It
That's what I
wasn't
always
like,
think.
yeah, it wasn't freezing. I was just sitting in the rain. I was totally cool with it. I was having a good time, you know. It's a beautiful view from there. You can even see, like, the Ferris wheel out at Irvine Spectrum. So we're just chilling, and it's like an hour passes, and, like, nothing's really happening. They haven't uncovered anything on the stage. They have all the tarps over it. And I'm getting text messages from Brienne, and she's like, I heard they're shutting it down. I'm like, oh, I haven't heard that. But then I go and I talk to the security lady, and she's like, apparently that thing that I just walked through that was like maybe up to like the low part of my shins was now at about 2.5 feet deep. And so they couldn't get anyone through. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Looking around, I'm like, there's like...
There are no people here.
Yeah, there's no one here. There's like, you know, maybe 2,000, maybe 2,000 people in there. Like, it's just so... Like, nobody has made it into this place.
Yeah.
Like, oh, crap. And so they did eventually, like, cancel it and reschedule the show for this coming Monday or whatever. But it was, like, we were sitting there, and it was, like, so we'd had, like, 2 drinks or whatever over the course of the 2 hours. We were just sitting in our seats. We realized it was, like, paid more for the drinks here than we did for the tickets. And we're going to come back. So good for you, Irvine. You really ran that hustle. Like, now we're going to come back and buy more drinks.
Can I also get a refund on the drinks that I had, or, like, a credit for the next time I come back?
But the exciting thing too is that then when we left, there was like no line at the merch thing because nobody managed to get into the place, and so this is the first time I've ever gotten a T-shirt at a concert because I'm impatient. So I was excited. It has all the dates on the back, even though technically the date for our show was wrong. But
You can always Sharpie that out. Strike that.
So FYI, you guys, California, going crazy,
Rain
and
is
we got to
hard,
be
people.
ready because I mean El Nino. This is
True.
just like, it was like a little preview, like, it's about to get real, you guys.
It's about to get real. And it's
Maybe
been super
figuring
humid
this
this
out.
week, and so, I don't know, I was going to a party on Saturday night, and it stopped raining, so I was a little bit bummed because we were going to go in the spa. I'm like, oh, I want it to be pouring, and we're sitting in the
great.
spa. But
I
then
love
it
that.
stopped
That's so
raining, it's a little
magical.
bit of a downer, but...
Yeah, I just find rain magical. I'm a fan of it, and because we have so little of it, it
Yeah.
just feels like when
And
it
it feels
happens.
like we're in
you're
Hawaii.
like, right? There you go. And so I was excited about it, and I'm excited for when we finally supposedly get more, and then like you don't feel guilty for taking showers or washing your car, things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna get that much rain. Still probably feel a little guilty for it, but like, you know, like a little.
Well, if we get that much rain, I won't have to wash my car.
That's a good point. That's kind of the dream. It's just not
dream.
having to wash it. Anyways, that's it. Anything interesting in the life of Laddie?
No, nowhere near as interesting as that. I left the windows open in my room, so all my stuff got wet when it rained. Because it was so hot. I'm like, oh, I should leave the windows open. And then I left, and I was actually house sitting, so I wasn't at home. And then I was like driving home from Jerry and Ricky's on Sunday, and it started pouring, and I started thinking, crap, I've left my window open this past 2 days that I've been gone.
Well, and the worst thing too is like, I mean, this happens in Costa Mesa in general. Being like near the ocean and all that kind of stuff, is if you do leave a window open, and yours isn't facing quite the right direction for it, but if you're facing sort of the direction of the water, it gets, all your stuff gets wet anyway. So it's like when it gets humid or things like that, and you open your window in Costa Mesa, it's like, oh, I get back and all the pages of your books are all like ripply, and you know, that's
that's the price I'll pay, I guess.
The price you pay for water.
First world problems.
Yeah, super first world problems.
So anyway, but we do have some cool things to talk about, which
I know, and we want to give a shout out to Sean for pointing out that he missed us in our insights on trailers and things like that, because there were quite a few things that we talked about last week, but I didn't post yet, and there's plenty to talk about today. Let's get rolling.
So let's get going. So the first thing that we get to talk about, and I know Corey is less excited about this, but there's a new Spectre trailer that hit, the official kind of long version. I like
Daniel Craig James Bond.
Oh, okay.
I just don't like
movie, and I know how you're very
James
weird about
Bond.
this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the spy.
But
movie.
I don't know if I've said this before, but I just love Daniel Craig. He's like one of those people, like he's similar to like one of those people that's like so good looking that like I can't look at him for too long. And when he's, you know, and so especially like James Bond, who's already this amazing human of a specimen. And he is just like so cool, and coupled with like being so beautiful and British also. I'm like, okay, I get it. Okay, I get it.
Did you see the SNL episode that he hosted?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh, you have to watch this. I made my mom watch it, and she kind of hates me for it, but she also loves it and rewatches it over and over again. Because the great thing about Daniel Craig, because he's like so beautiful, it's that thing that you like say about Bradley Cooper, like staring at the sun, you know, that kind of thing.
Right, totally.
That in this episode of SNL, he lets himself be like super ugly and gross and weird. And it's like, it almost makes him more endearing that he just like embraces it and is like, you're like, oh, I like need a shower after every sketch he's in. And it's amazing because he's so intimidatingly good looking that it's just like, good on you. Good on you. It's so good. Yeah, so this trailer.
But anyway, it looks really great. And so if you guys have seen Skyfall, it obviously picks up after that, which was like wildly successful. Yeah, obviously, this one also has a cool cast. Christoph Waltz is going to be the bad guy.
Christoph Waltz is the greatest because he plays amazing bad guys, but in real life seems like the sweetest human being on the planet.
Because he actually was in that one SNL skit that is so hilarious. Or is it SNL? When he's doing
that
little song?
Kimmel.
Or what is that?
I think it was on Kimmel. The Der Humpink one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever that is. You know what I mean? Like, I honestly, every time I see him, I'm like, oh, he's so good. But then I think of that in the back of my mind, and I'm like, oh, you're so adorable. So,
and if you don't know what we're talking about, look this up. I think it was Kimmel. It was some sort of late night show or whatever. And Christoph Waltz does, it was at the time of the Trollolo phase or meme or whatever. And he does this Trollolo parody called Der Humpink, where he like humps random objects and then puts a bow on them, and he's just got this smile on his face, like it's the most natural thing in the world.
It's so funny.
Oh, it's great.
Gosh. But anyway, so he's, you know, shenanigans, and I don't know. I'm not really apparently the Spectre, some evil back corporation. It's like SDCC. They're like involved in all of the black market evil that happens in the world, and he's had his eye on James Bond for all these years, and it's kind of, I don't know, it just looks cool.
Yeah,
it looks cool.
As Kristen pointed out first and foremost when I told her to watch this trailer, Moriarty is in it. We just get like this brief flash
snippet,
of his face,
and it was so brief that I was like, ah, and you try and rewind it, but you can't.
You can't hit that
like,
spot.
I'm just gonna ask. I'm sure he is.
Yeah, he is. I confused Kristen by making a note of this in my notes, but one of the things that I always do find funny in like these spy movies and stuff like that is the weird thing where, like, they have two people sit on a bench, like, either facing opposite directions or just sitting next to each other and, like, facing forward and not looking at each other. And somehow we're supposed to believe that people around them don't think they're talking to each other. Like, who are we supposed to imagine that people think they're talking to? Like, oh, it's just the crazy hobo who happens to be wearing an $8,000 suit talking to himself on the bench. Like,
I think also a lot of it has to do, though, with like the more of like the photographic evidence.
Yeah.
So if someone takes a picture of them, it's like, oh, they're just sitting on a bench. So if they're, you know what I mean? So if they're looking at each other, it's like, oh, they were definitely meeting. It's in cahoots. But if they're just sitting there and at the same thing, they're probably like, but they're clearly sitting by each other. Clearly something's happening here. But I guess maybe they think if someone photographs them, they won't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
This is just one of those things that comes up in like every spy movie. Every one of them has it. And
anything. Yeah. Also, it's like, but so they're just talking to themselves. That's weird.
Yeah, like who's
That's
this?
super
and
obvious.
They're both doing it.
I was like, you should be in like a disguise and then talking to each other.
And just be like, have your dog, like, you know, like you just sat down, you're like, hey, it's a nice day out. Like, that's
have a newspaper
less
and you talk
suspicious.
only in code, which is cool, you know? It would be great if they only talked in code, but then they put like the subtitles of what they really meant underneath. It's like, oh, it's a nice day for a walk, isn't it? Oh, the cherry blossoms are in bloom. And it's like, you need to murder Franco at the clock tower, you know? And you're like,
I want to say it like, I remember watching something that does that and I thought it was super awesome, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, like that makes sense to me. You know, I feel like if I were anywhere walking in a park or something like that and I saw two people sitting next to each other staring forward, I wouldn't be like, oh, they're not here together. It'd be like, dude, those people are spies.
Yeah.
And
I'd like walk by and pick up the envelope that was sitting next to them and be like involved in their espionage. Or I just walk by and drop off an envelope and see if they're like,
oh my god, that'd be amazing.
They'd probably shoot me, actually.
We should do that. Like, we should just go to parks and like walk up to people who are like just sitting on the park and like say something that's sort of open-ended, like nice weather we're having or something, and then whenever they respond, like act like that was the proper code word and just like slip envelopes down and walk away.
And inside it's something super hilarious.
Right?
We have to put something really funny inside.
It's just like it's my Zac Efron folder or something like that.
Signed by us though.
Yeah. Like, oh, that could be amazing. We should do this.
Although I feel like also they would arrest us for like being terrorists.
That's true. That's a really good point. It depends.
Yeah,
well, that
like,
would be the funny thing.
The rain comes in Spain on the plane. Or sit down next to someone on a bench. Like, you and I would also sit next to them, and you and I would have a conversation completely looking forward and talk about, like, super vague
on
things.
opposite side of the...
Yeah. On opposite, we're like... Oh my gosh. And we'll have to use... We're like, yeah. But you'd have to use names of people who are, like, famous spies, you know?
Yeah.
So
it made me think of, like, Home Alone. Snakes. I don't know, no snakes.
Oh my gosh, it would be so amazing.
We should do this. We'll work on this, you guys.
We'll work on this.
This could be hilarious. That's all I'm saying.
Could also only be funny to us, which
That's
I'm
true.
also okay with.
But so many things are only funny to us, and yet we still talk about them every week.
That's true, and people still listen to us.
Yeah, so there you go.
What does that say about you people?
I know.
Oh.
This is on you, not us. You're encouraging us. I just want you to know. They should have ended this a year ago. But you guys keep encouraging us. Ay. Yeah, but that trailer,
anyway, so it looks cool.
Amazing. I'm super into it. I really like, I was trying to watch some other Bond movies. Mac is super into Bond, you know. I'm like, I think I like the idea of Bond more than I like actual James Bond. So I tried to watch some of the older ones that I hadn't seen in a long time, and I'm like, nope, still hate this. But the Daniel Craig ones are just so good. Like, and
I like
Skyfall is so good.
Pierce Brosnan ones.
I just watched those last week. They were...
Maybe I need to rewatch them. But those are like the...
Well, don't rewatch them if you like them.
Those were the ones I watched like with my parents, you know, because the other ones were old. And so it's like those ones came out when I was like young. I'm like, oh, let's go see it. And GoldenEye was like the big game that me and my brother and cousins would play all together. So that one obviously holds a special place. But I've always liked him, so...
Yeah, I love Pierce Brosnan.
What's not to love?
But those movies did not do it for me. But I sat and I watched them. I was like, I'm going to do this. I've dedicated myself to it. There's that.
What you gonna do? There you go.
Sorry, a little scratchy throat. What else we got?
We also have a full trailer for The Last Dinosaur, the Pixar movie. I'm still not really sure what's going on in this movie.
I'm not sure
There's
what's
like
going
a little
on,
boy,
but I
there
love
doesn't
it.
seem to be any adults, so I'm not sure
No.
where he's coming from.
Nope.
And there are still dinosaurs.
Yep.
I don't know. Honestly, I'm super underwhelmed by
Really?
these trailers. I am not
I
excited.
like it a
I'm like,
lot.
this looks super boring. Don't understand what's going on. Like, they seem to just be. The dinosaur keeps trying to be like a dog and like climbing weird things and falling and
It's so cute.
I guess, but it's more just. But like, does the dinosaur talk? Does the little boy talk? He's a caveman.
It sounded like at the beginning of it did sound like the dinosaur was like starting to maybe talk, but I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I think it looks adorable. I think I like the friendship theme and the sort of like pay it forward and doing a nice thing for others and and it like I really think it's beautiful to look at too. Like it's just I love the colors in it, the deep dark greens and blues and things that they've got going on in it, and it just like appeals to me on an aesthetic level, and I feel like there will be feels. But yeah, I mean, on a practical level, I have no idea how this movie is supposed to work. Like, why is this baby around by itself? And, you know, what's... I don't...
Is this like a Mowgli situation? He's going to be raised by the dinosaur?
Raised by dinosaurs, yeah.
I don't know.
That would be...
Anyway,
Bamf.
so we'll see. I'm tempted to... I probably won't see this. I'll wait till you see it and just tell me what happens.
Tell you what happens. You still haven't seen Inside Out, have you?
I haven't. My life is just... I did see Trainwreck.
Oh, I'm going to see that one tonight.
Yeah, so...
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, but I haven't... I'm getting around to it. I don't know. Life is hard.
Life is, yeah. There's a lot of life happening. I've been attempting to see Spy constantly for the past month and not being able to make it, but...
I like Spy a little bit. I thought Spy was funnier than Trainwreck. Yeah. Trainwreck can just get a little much for me. But Amy Schumer's great. Bill Hader is like, the main character is like hilarious to me, but he's like also totally makes it work, like is endearing and wonderful, and LeBron James pretty much steals every scene he's in by being completely ridiculous and like so eager and like a little over eager, you know?
Oh, I'm excited.
Anyway, there's this one scene where him and Bill Hader are having lunch together, and it is incredible, and I was like dying. I'm like, why am I laughing so hard at this? Maybe it's just me, but I was like, he is awesome in it. Like LeBron James, good job.
No,
I'm like, now we need to
really
get, like,
funny in the commercials, so I'm like,
really
okay.
funny.
I'm
So funny,
sold.
and I was like, well, let's see. That was probably all of it, but he does some. There's just anyway. You just watch it, you'll see.
Yeah,
you'll enjoy it. So that happened. That's not what we're talking about. Last Dinosaur was what we were talking about.
That did happen.
We're kind of excited.
Oh, right. I forgot that. I was like, yeah. Why are we changing the subject? Oh, right, because that wasn't the subject.
That was the subject. Here we go. Coming back. Bringing it back around. Last Dinosaur. We'll see. The other one, though, that I am excited about is the new Leonardo DiCaprio Tom Hardy movie called The Revenant.
Yeah. And see, I'm less sold on this one.
Well, this one I'm also very confused. I'm not entirely sure what it's about. If you read IMDb, it's like Leonardo DiCaprio's character was like mauled by a bear and left to die by his friends. But in the trailer, they're like fighting Indians.
Yeah, it's like it's like a full war.
Yeah, it's like an Indian war. So I don't really know what's going on. I honestly just want to see it because I love Tom Hardy, and so
right. That's my thing. Is I'm like, okay, it has
and
Tom
honestly,
Hardy.
I'd forgotten he was in it until like the end of the trailer. They're like, Tom Hardy. He doesn't even look like him.
No,
you can't even see his face. It's so covered with hair. Maybe that's why. But.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm also like, I'm wary of the director Iñárritu, the guy who did Birdman, and things. I'm like, I feel like I've never liked any of his movies. And so I'm like, this is probably going to have some sort of weird, like, magical realism that changes the rules partway through it. And, like, you know, I don't know what's happening in the trailer. So I feel like I could be persuaded to like it and watch it. But the trailer is just, like, it's so stressful, too. It is
very, and there's, like, it's kind of,
driving.
The music is, like, his breathing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I found myself like matching it.
Yeah,
and by the end, I'm like, I feel like I'm hyperventilating. I need a bag.
Why am I so out of breath? Oh my god!
I didn't even do anything. I just been sitting here.
Yeah,
I feel like I've been chasing things.
Exactly.
But anyway, so I don't know. And I'm a sucker for a Western wilderness movie, so I'm excited for it. Plus Tom Hardy, and then and that's it. That's no more.
Oh, you said and then I was like, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna keep going, then I decided not to. I just failed out. I just Kristen Stewarted that sentence. I'm like, it's gonna stop.
Anyways, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. That's all we have for trailers, I think, for this week, right?
Wasn't anything. Yeah, we hit a lot of the trailers last week, so that's pretty much.
A lot of big stuff came out this week. I'm actually somewhat surprised at how many did just come out today given how much was released last week. I thought that we were going to have another, like, sort of slow, week because everything had sort of already been revealed. But
they're coming in hot here. Coming in hot.
BT Dubs. Also, I saw Ant-Man, you guys, and I'm pretty sure it's my favorite in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay, I'm seeing it on Saturday with my dad, so I'll tell you.
I'm glad. We won't talk about it because Kristen hasn't seen it yet, but I recommend it. I really loved it. FYI.
Text my dad because I thought he had said he didn't really want to see it, but I texted him and was like, "What would you? Are you interested in seeing Ant-Man?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Because I was thinking like, I'm gonna see this by myself. No one's gonna want. I tried to convince my friend, and she's like, "Let's see Trainwreck Mall or Ant-Man." She's like, "Or Trainwreck." I'm like, "Or
have you considered Ant-Man?"
Yeah. So
maybe.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm gonna see it. So afterwards we'll talk.
I'm glad that you guys are gonna see that.
I'm excited.
Celebrities have things going on.
Celebrities, man, misbehaving,
like WTF, mate. Not straight Ariana Grande status, but up there.
Yeah, not nearly.
Listen, a few, like a month or two ago, Taylor Swift put out that Bad Blood video, right?
Yeah,
and I considered talking about it. I think it was when we were doing the female friendship episode. Because
I don't remember.
Yeah,
whatever.
I considered it, and then I was like, no, I don't want to bring this negativity into this. Because my thing about Taylor Swift is like she's sort of become this weird like feminist icon, all that kind of stuff. She's got this like female friendship thing going on, which obviously we're totally for, except that it's like totally false. And so if you think about it, like what the song Bad Blood is like a feud between her and Katy Perry, right? Like this was like a big thing about like stealing backup dancers or something really stupid and childish like that. And so she wrote a song like that. And then she gets like her entire army of friends to star in a video that's basically ganging up on Katy Perry. And that's kind of a cruel thing to do, isn't it? Like, can you imagine?
It wasn't even like they did anything in the video, which was my whole thing. It was like this whole lead up. I'm like, okay, this is going to be like an action movie. It'll be so cool.
Right.
And then like nothing happened. She like walked by people and they were all made up in their stuff. And I was like, what?
Okay.
Yeah. And then at the end you're like, yeah, so basically she just
amassed an army to say, I hate you, Katy Perry.
I hate you. And I was like, well, okay.
And everyone around me hates you.
I didn't feel either way about it. And people were like, wasn't it awesome? I was like, I don't know. Yeah. It didn't really have as much of a story as I thought it was going to be, so I was kind of super bummed.
I know.
I thought it was going to have, like when they're like super long and they have this like talking part, and then it's like turns into like a mini movie, and it's super cool. And that's why I used to always love Taylor Swift videos because she would always like tell like a fun story. Right. Exactly. I like the one, what was it? The one where that had Matt Saracen in it is like one of my favorite videos ever. It's like I forget what it's called. It wasn't even like a very famous song of hers, but it was like this really adorable video, and maybe I didn't like it because it wasn't adorable. That could also be it. Well. But I don't know. So they always she was like told a story, so I'm like, oh, this will be so great, and then I'm like, okay, I'll move on now and find another one that's better. But.
Yeah, it was like, I think the result of this video for me was twofold. Like, even though it was cool looking and all that kind of stuff, and it was sweet, everyone was all looking badass. So it was like, the two things you get out of it are, A, she's amassed an army against Katy Perry, and she's telling her that, like, all of Hollywood and music are against her, which sucks. And B, she's just showing off how many super hot, famous friends she has that none of us have. Like, either way, at best it's boastful, and at worst it's really mean. Yeah. And so obviously Bad Blood got nominated for a VMA because everything Taylor Swift does gets nominated for something. And Nicki Minaj didn't get nominated for Anaconda. And so Nicki Minaj sort of was like tweeting about the fact that like her video had broken records, and that like MTV even did a write-up on the choreography in it, and like it was a huge deal. And basically she's sort of pointing out like a intersectional feminist problem here, that like, a black woman pioneers something, and then the white woman gets like the props for doing it, and she's like, this is a problem, I like black women don't get sort of the credit they're due when they do something. Like, it coined something. Anaconda started the year of the ass, as people were calling it, and it's a huge pop culture phenomenon. I don't like the song, like, it's not my thing, but it did spawn something.
Yeah, you can't deny the fact that it made this, it was
it's a
huge.
Hugely cultural,
I'm not saying anything, huge.
Yeah.
Like, literally, not figuratively, about the butts in it, but
yes. And so she's like kind of calling this out, and then Taylor Swift decides to make it about her, which to a certain extent is. So Nicki Minaj says like, you know, if you feature,
she's very vague in her like they, you know,
but she's saying like if you feature skinny white women in a video, like you're gonna get nominated, you know, and people are going to recognize it. You know?
What else was nominated other than Taylor Swift?
I think it was all men other than that. So I think it was just the two of them. So, I mean, it clearly was sort of talking about like Taylor Swift or whatever, but a larger problem, you know, and Taylor responds by basically being like, you know, I've done nothing but support you. I can't believe you're pitting women against each other.
Which I was like, that's ironic.
Yeah, like, seriously?
I was like, isn't your entire video about pitting women against each other? I'm just saying. I mean, I don't want to call the kettle black, but you are calling it.
Yeah, but you are. And so Nicki Minaj...
Is that a poor choice of...
Oh, yeah, maybe that wasn't the best metaphor.
Maybe not.
Scratch
I'm really
that.
sorry
Anyway,
about that. That was one of those times where I didn't think before I spoke. I'm going to come out and own that.
Yeah, you're just going to own it.
I'm sorry.
Apologies, everybody.
Apologies. That was not a good use of phrase, but I'm sorry. Let's move on.
Yeah, well played. And so, like, Nicki Minaj responds, like, you know, no, I love you and it's fine, but, like, you need to be calling this out, too. Like, you basically, like, if you're supposed to be such an ally and a person who cares about feminist things and all that kind of stuff, like, you need to speak up about the fact that Black women are being silenced in this industry and in pop culture and things like that. And Taylor's response
don't
to
even say it. It makes me cringe. I literally read that article and I went like this. My mouth just dropped open. Before I even finished reading the article, I was just reading the tweets, and I was like, that is not her response to that call to action.
Yeah, it's anyway, so bad. Sorry. Her response, I'm sorry, I have to say, she basically tells Nicki Minaj, if I win, come up on stage with me. You're always invited to any stage I'm on. What?
Oh
my god.
You know what happens? How many tweets did Nicki Minaj write after that and then delete? And then write and then delete.
Just like,
and then finally someone was sitting there and was like, no, just give it a day.
Yeah. Like, holy cow, Adventures in Missing the Point. Like,
yeah, like where did she what? It's like that's not what she was asking. First of all, not
she
that
wasn't
she ever
asking
would
for
ask
an
to
invitation on stage.
It would be so great if you came up with me when I'm amazing and everyone talks about how awesome I am. I'm like, no. How about you actually use that time to be like, I don't know, not to call someone up on stage as a consolation of like, oh, come up here, like, no.
I mean, and this goes back to like, as ill-advised and terrible as it was, like when Kanye came up and interrupted Taylor Swift's speech 8 years ago or whatever, what he was sort of trying to point to in his inelegant Kanye way was the fact that he's like, a Black woman just made something that was like huge and crazy and changed everything, and you're giving it to this, you know, 17-year-old white girl. Like, I mean, that's really sort of what was at the root of what he was saying, right or wrong, you know? And so I feel like this is one of those things that, like, she should be in tune to. Like, there's a reason why people criticize this, and whether they're saying it in a way that's, you know, hurtful or whatever, like, maybe listen to it and, like, think about that. Like, if Taylor Swift had just responded, like, you know what? Yeah, this is an issue. I see it. I see this wasn't a dig at me personally, but as at the industry, let's do something about this.
Honestly,
you know?
like, if her and Nicki are such friends that she's always there for her, like, that's a phone call to Nicki.
Right. Exactly.
Not a Twitter response of 100 characters of, like, I don't know. That's like one of my big beefs about this sort of thing where it's like, I don't know. That's one of the things I don't like about Twitter is like people like throw these like ideas up on there and you're like, I don't know. I just feel like you don't get to have a conversation about it. People get to talk about the 20 characters you've put on there, 140, whatever your limit is.
Whatever it is,
Whatever that thing that foils me every time. That's why I never tweet. I'm like, I have too many thoughts.
Yep.
And I want to use correct grammar, and then you can't use it there. Anyway, and so it's like, so Nicki puts this stuff on there, and then, I don't know, I feel like it's hard, it makes it hard to have that kind of conversation about it. Right. You know? Because then all you get is a tweet back that's that, and then it's like, kills the conversation because it's like, well, just come up on stage with me, that'll fix everything. You're like, no, it won't. First of all, like, you're missing the point of what she's trying to say. I don't think Nicki can really explain fully what she's saying in the tweets that she's doing. Like, even I think you did a better job explaining it to me right now. I'm like, oh yeah, that's probably more what she was trying to get at.
Right.
You know, and so because it just all is so veiled, and especially like the way it was put out there, it's like so veiled. It's like, oh, I'm not talking about someone. I'm like, well, you are. You know, but I don't know.
Well,
that's what always frustrates
it's
me about these conversations, that they get stopped so quickly because I feel like people don't really want to have the conversations about it. They just want to put their ideas out there.
Remade as like a celebrity feud as opposed to an important conversation about a cultural problem.
Yeah. So now it's like Taylor and Nicki hate each other. It's like, okay, that's not where this was going in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't what the point of this was.
No.
And now the next video that Taylor does is going to be about how she hates Nicki Minaj. I don't know. Or it's like something, but
exactly.
I'm like, ugh, I'm just kind of tired of these like snippet that just gloss over what the real issues are of anything. And so it's just kind of frustrating, and especially for me, because I'm so long-winded. Obviously, I'm still trying to explain myself right now. And so for me, it's just frustrating. I get really frustrated when I can't express myself in a way that I'm trying to. And so if I can't find the words, if I don't know how to explain it correctly, that's really frustrating for me.
Right.
Or if I get cut off halfway through, if someone cuts me off, or if I don't get to finish explaining, I'm like, it makes me really anxious. And so like for this, where I'm like, nothing will ever come of this. This will kind of blow up into something huge and not what it started out to be.
Right.
I'll never even get to have like real thoughts about it, because there won't be any intelligent, like, from these two people of like what was happening and what kind of resolution they came to, or I don't know. I just feel like it allows people to be shallow.
Right. That's the thing. I think like I sent you the like Lainey gossip version of it that I think was great, because it was like, Taylor screwed up, like, you know, and she miscalculated, because normally she's so good at calculating when she should broadcast those, like, kinds of thoughts and things. Like, her response to Nicki Minaj, the way that she did it, like you said, it should have been a phone call. She did this on purpose to sort of try to, like, shame Nicki Minaj publicly in front of the millions
I think
of people
she's
who follow
trying
both.
I think she was trying to get around it.
Well, the first tweet, I mean, when she said, like, I've supported you, I can't believe you're pitting women against each other, like, clearly she was trying to, like, keep Nicki from criticizing her publicly and be like, no, you're being petty or whatever, you know? The second one was then like, oh, shoot. I mean, we're friends. And it didn't work. It backfired. But as the Lainey Gossip pointed out, they're like, but what's going to happen is, like, people will forgive Taylor. It'll move on. Nothing changes. You know, that's it. And it becomes about Taylor and Nicki as opposed to the systemic problem that Nicki brought up, you know, which is what sucks. It's like Taylor Swift took all the attention from a point that Nicki Minaj was making and put it on herself instead, and put it on the celebrity gossip thing instead of people looking at what would have just been Nicki Minaj's sort of rant about the industry and people writing think pieces on that and thinking about what that meant. Now all the think pieces are on them.
Yeah, and those will happen, but they'll be few and far between, and those won't be the things that make the story, you know, because that's not as exciting apparently to talk about an actual issue versus like whether or not they are feuding at the actual award show. Like, are they going to talk to each other?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, remember when they had their feud a couple months ago? You're like, good lord, like no one cares.
Right.
I could not care less. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to think of what else I could care less about.
Nope.
I'm sure there are other things.
It's pretty high up on the list.
I mean, probably like Kardashians are like the only thing that's like below on the care or above on the caring, not whatever.
Yeah, no, I get
that was confusing. You know,
it's a confusing statement, but I get you.
It's like, come on, let's just have a summit. I don't know. I'm calling for a summit of powerful women to hear each other out.
Hear. I call this summit to order.
Let's listen to one another.
The delegate from Costa Mesa has the floor.
Here's the thing, guys. Just kidding. It'd be like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. I would never sit down.
I love it.
I'm like, I'm filibustering this summit.
Yes. Anyway. You know, there are good things that celebrities do, though.
There are.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe is winning this week
at
Life.
Definitely.
And not to mention, is that his girlfriend in this video?
I'm pretty sure, and she is a spaz.
She's winning, actually, is what happens. So I think we all know Daniel Radcliffe can rap, because we saw him, remember, on Jimmy Fallon. We talked about this a few months ago when he was on that on the show, and he did
Alphabet Acrobatics or whatever it was called.
Yeah. And we had talked about the first time, you have to watch it twice, because the first time you wait for him to screw up and be terrible, and then you realize he isn't. So then you got to go back and rewatch it to really appreciate what a good job he does. Yeah. And so this video popped up of him singing karaoke and doing the real Slim Shady. and his girlfriend singing it with him. Not really. She's kind of doing the chorus. She basically just kind of yells into the microphone.
Yeah.
I think she might be a little tipsy. And it's wonderful because he's so good. You can't really, and you can tell he's like nailing it and like doing a great job. But she is amazing
She's
because
scene
she
stealer.
is dancing like there's nobody else in the room by her.
Right? Like,
and
she's
it's
uninhibited, just like all rubber limbs. Like
so awesome. And then when it's her part to sing, she's like,
jumps.
Jumping and is like so into it. I'm like, that is what it's like the embodiment of what karaoke should be, you know? Oh, it's so fun. It's such a fun video.
You watch it, you're just like, they must have so much fun together.
They must have I'm like, I want to go see karaoke. I'm like, can we invite them to your birthday?
Right? Yeah, you guys, Dirty Nellies.
Come on down.
I'm going to send them an invitation.
You totally should, because honestly, that was amazing.
Like, and Daniel Radcliffe doesn't even have to come. His girlfriend can just come. Like,
yeah,
that's
I actually
fine.
don't mind if he doesn't. I want her there because she looks like she's really fun.
Yeah,
I don't even know
she could hang.
who she is.
No, I don't think
Is she
think
like a
she's
normal
like
person?
Yeah, I think she's just a regular gal.
Yeah. Well, good for her. I love it. I loved it. It was just too much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And then also, there was another video that came out, which is great because I love the Jonas Brothers and everything, but this makes Joe Jonas look like the biggest tool on the planet. What's the magazine that is?
Vulture?
I don't think it was Vulture. Gosh, off the top of my head, the magazine's escaping me. But basically, Daniel Radcliffe comes and he's the secretary of this magazine for an hour. And they like set him up, but he doesn't know how to do anything. And so he's absolutely useless. So mostly everyone coming in, like, either they walk by and don't notice him, or they like notice him and they're like, wait, nylon, that was what it was. So they walk by and they're like, wait a minute. And so they'll come up and talk to him. And there's like a few, like, there is one woman, the woman who's coming for like the meeting, who genuinely does not seem to have any idea who he is too. And is like, kind of like, okay, I've been waiting for you to connect me to this person. WTF, mate. But mostly people know who he is, so they'll come up and he's like, yeah, I'm not super useful, like, I can get you, what does he say he can, like, the one thing he can get people is, I can't even remember, but then someone's like, how about stamps? And he's like, nope.
You can like see him sweating through that jacket. Like anytime he's like, every time someone walks by the office, he's like, please don't come in here. Please don't come in here.
And it's like, it's great because it feels like he genuinely, like, as much as he's like, this is like fun, I'm surprising people, like, he also feels like a jerk for like making it difficult for people to do their jobs.
Right. And he like sincerely wants to be good at it.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell
he's trying, he's fumbling with the phone, like, you know, he's like, how do I get a hold of people? And so it's great. And at the end of it, Joe Jonas walks in and, like, does not appear to have any moment of recognition of Daniel Radcliffe. And, like, Daniel Radcliffe recognizes him. That's one of the best parts, too. He walks in and Daniel goes, oh. And, like, Joe Jonas just, like, walks up and he's like, yeah, I'm Dan. And he's like, yeah, Joe, are you from the England office? And Daniel Radcliffe goes, yeah, we'll go with that. Like, he's having so much trouble, like, trying to connect him to this person he's supposed to meet with, and then as soon as he, like, gets up to go find the person, Joe's like, oh, his secretary is terrible. Like,
well, it was funny because the reason I even saw it was I follow Jonas Brothers on Facebook, and so they're the ones that link to it, and I don't know if he was doing damage control, because you're right, it didn't look like he was
clearly
joking,
didn't, no.
because when he posted the video, he's like, oh, I got Dan so good, like, blah, 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 and I'm like,
I don't think so.
And maybe, unless, like, at the end, he's like, just kidding, I totally knew it was you. I don't know, but, like, part of me, I'm like, I don't know, you kind of seem like you're being rude.
Yeah. Well, and it's, like, not even, like...
you totally can't really tell, and I'm like, because he's trying to, like, cover his ass, or did he really know, and was, like, was playing it off really well?
Because he wasn't that rude. That's the thing. Like, if he was being, like, kind of, like, really rude or whatever, and acting, I would have been like, oh, I buy it. But the thing is, it's more like, he's, like, trying to act like he's not frustrated or whatever, and, like... And then, as soon as Daniel Radcliffe walks away, then he says the, like, douchey thing. You know, like, I think, like, you genuinely just didn't recognize him. Like, I don't know. Maybe he should be acting like Nick Jonas, you know, and he's actually really good. But I think he's probably doing damage control at this point.
Probably.
But both of these videos of Daniel Radcliffe this week are amazing. I don't know if he's promoting anything or what, but he's winning. Whatever he's doing. He is.
Well, he was just at Comic-Con. My friend was there and she saw him.
Yes, he was.
She said there was a lot of, so I don't know if he's got something coming up, but he was there. I don't know.
I'm sure there's something really obvious we're forgetting about. Right? Like, oh, right, he's in that. Either way, he's great. So we'll link to those videos on the blog because they're amazing.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
And then fun X-Files news, which is exciting. There was some more casting coming out of the little mini-series that's going to be happening. It's Lauren Ambrose and Robbie Amell are both going to be cast on there. And apparently they're different. So at first I'm like, that's interesting because they both kind of look like her hair looks like Gillian Anderson. I'm like, so
a ginger and
there's
a
like their
brunette.
kids.
Yeah.
It's not their kids. They are just playing other agents, some kind of young blood agents that are in it. So
yeah, my favorite thing is that the Mary Sue, which is such a wonderful geek website, their headline for it was, "We can't hardly wait to see Lauren Ambrose and Robbie Amell in this." And I was like, yes, all I wanted was for someone to make a "Can't Hardly Wait" reference about Lauren Ambrose. Like that was
who is she in that?
She's the one in the bathroom with Seth Green, Preston's best friend.
That's her?
Yeah, that's her.
I gotta go back and look at a picture.
Yeah, so with the short hair, all that stuff. Yeah, that's Lauren Ambrose.
That's so funny because I kept meaning, I'm like, I gotta IMDb her because I don't know who she is.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and in the
it probably
article
said
I read, they
Under
said 6 feet under, and I was like, okay, well, if that's what she's known for, I won't look her up.
Yeah, that's...
You can't really see it in her face.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
I know. She cleaned up good.
Wow. Good job, Lauren Ambrose.
Right?
You fooled me.
Yep. The dog is watching so intently right now. He's really concerned about Lauren Ambrose. But yeah, so I'm excited about this. I'm just excited in general by all the casting news, and they put out that like tiny little teaser thing with the "I Want to Believe" poster, and you know, it's coming. I'm stoked on it. I've been rewatching old X-Files all the time. I'm in. Yeah. I'm into it. I've also been watching Californication because now I have, the Showtime Hulu thing. So I've gone through 3 seasons of that, and now I'm just Duchovny mode. Straight up. So, yay, X-Files! Woo! And then the other bit of
another blowback,
news,
or not blowback, flashback. I was trying to say flashback.
Like, wait, what?
That's all right.
Xena,
you guys. So there was a Nerdist article saying that
Lucy Lawless wants to play.
Oh, wait a second.
Or is this a different one?
Oh, now there's an update. Shoot.
Oh no, say it ain't so.
I clicked on the link that I gave you, and that was the same one. It's like, update. Xena herself is calling shenanigans on this beautiful rumor. Hopefully all this excitement spurs the project forward, at least.
Sad.
So just kidding. Well, this is lame now. This is now a non-story.
Though
there was a rumor floating around that they were going to reboot Xena Warrior Princess.
Because she said she wanted to be in it, right?
She did. Because she was just at Comic-Con, whatever. Yeah. She's going to be something else. And so she was like, this would be so rad. Let's do it. And so then she just was like, no, it's not. It's a rumor, but it would be cool, So
it's just the internet trying to make things happen.
No, internet.
Power of suggestion. I was excited. I was like, maybe Carl Urban will be in it again, too. Oh, my God. Amazing. So get on that, Hollywood. I mean, while we're remaking things, people want one.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah, give the people what they want. Stop making things we don't want and make one that everyone's largely behind. TV seems to be sort of safe for that. People like reboots of TV, not reboots of TV, but TV that brings back our favorite people. Yeah. So like X-Files and Xena and things like that. It's like, if you can give us the original cast or like someone from the original cast, something like that, generally people are okay with that as like continuity and getting to see something later on. Girl Meets World, like all these kinds of things. So, I mean, maybe that's if Hollywood doesn't want to make new stuff, then maybe they just need to start focusing on movies and TV that bring back people that we like.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, you guys.
We'll see.
That's about it.
That's it. Yeah, that's all we got for today.
For real this time.
For reals. This you will actually get to watch this. Well, now you'll know that because you'll be watching me saying that you're actually going to watch this.
You actually got to watch this.
You actually you're welcome.
Yeah. We did you a solid.
Congratulations! You did it!
Yay!
You watched this episode!
World's best cup of coffee! You did it! By the way, did you see my awesome coffee mug?
What does it say? The man, the story, the legacy.
6th floor museum at Dealey Plaza. And it has a nice big picture of JFK on it. And it's an enormous mug. It's hard to tell, like, scale. I'm like,
I can tell, though, because your whole hand is fitting in it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm super into cups that have my whole... if I can only fit like 2 fingers, it hurts. So you want to whole handle it there.
It's a great cup. So, but I feel like I'm like the ultimate tourist right now. I'm wearing like my dashboard t-shirt and holding my JFK mug.
Yeah.
Like, I will buy anything, apparently.
Yeah, but like,
so
who
much
buys this
stuff.
crap? You're like, me. I buy it.
I do. I have a collection of this crap. So there's
Winning.
that. Anyways,
So,
thanks for listening again, guys. Sorry for the delay. Sorry I've been a little incommunicado, but hopefully now, I mean, my computer's still broken, but I'll do my best to get in touch more. Kristen's doing some tweeting, you know, we're like a little tweeting.
Exaggeration.
We're doing our best to communicate, but we're glad that you're still looking after us, hanging out with us, being cool. Hey, share with your friends if you're enjoying it. Spread the love. And don't forget to subscribe to us on all the things, on the Stitcher, the iTunes, the YouTube, the Facebook, the Tweety, the SoundCloud, whatever. Wherever you want to subscribe to us, we'll give you treasures.
Yes.
And it'll be nice. Shout out to Luke, who finally in South Africa received his package. I was definitely sure the mail ate it, so that was exciting.
I had totally forgotten about that. And then I was so confused as what he was talking about. And then he's like posted the picture. I was like, what's happening?
Yeah. Fun fact, it takes a long time to mail things to South Africa.
Yeah.
I also partially blame that I maybe lied a little bit on the customs form, so I don't know if they like went through it. I had already sealed the package, and then they put like a custom thing on it, and they're like, say what's in it. And I'm like, it's a bunch of random crap. I have no idea what's in this thing anymore. It's closed. I don't know what's in it. So, but it did get there. So Luke, I hope you enjoy your treasures. Do tell us so we can figure out which half of the CD that we sent you is Kristen's picks and which half are my picks. That's exciting.
Yeah.
But that's it. So this has been the Fan Cave, episode 70 and 70 and a half. So I'm Corrigan Vaughn.
And I'm Kristen Lotterell.
Peace out, everybody.
Take it easy, kids.
Oh wait, is it recording the full time?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, I think I'm ready now. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh, this is so weird. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay. Oh, what if it's too loud? Just shake his face. Are you too loud? It's okay. I'm just gonna not move his hand. I'll just.
What podcast do you think this is?
I don't know.